Yeah, because the logo
Okay.
is there, I like it.
Semua live ke?
Dah
Tadi
live.
seorang je
I
live.
think kita dah live dah.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Very good. Good evening. Selamat malam. Selamat malam pada hari kemerdekaan. And then bila idea datang ni memang last minute, seperti biasa last minute. Tapi last minute lah selalunya dia buat satu yang orang kata apa, kejutan, sesuatu yang tak disangka, dan itu sebenarnya yang membuatkan dia lagi istimewa, lagi special tu. Ya, okay, dah lama sangat tak ada datang ke dalam Monday Blues. Tapi hari ni nak buat, tak boleh nak kata Wednesday Blues, tak boleh. Sebab itu kita namakan Minda Blues. Tapi yang menariknya bila kita cakap tentang Minda Blues ni, saya bukan bercakap seorang-seorang. Saya tidak berhalusinasi. Halusinasi. Tidak. Itu monolog seorang-seorang. Tidak. Sebab kita akan ada tetamu yang untuk kita berjumpa sekali. Untuk berbicara lah, bercakap. Kalau tidak, macam mana saya nak praktis nak jadi si pendengar lara? Kalau seorang-seorang cakap takkan nak dengar suara sendiri kan? Dan pada kali ini bukan seorang, bukan dua orang, 3 orang. Itu yang membuatkan Minda Blues sesuatu yang istimewa. Bukan sekadar pada Hari Merdeka saja. Ini permulaannya. Okey, saya nak ucapkan selamat datang pada yang bersama saya pada malam ni. Dia dah lama. Selalunya saya boleh ingat lagi apa sahabat-sahabat yang selalunya akan tidak bersama. Contohnya Puan Shah. Lepas tu saya ada Nori Syam, datang sekejap. Lepas tu kita ada Ayuni kena datang Ayuni sebab tetamu yang selalunya Ayuni suka. Doktor mana? Siapa lagi? Bukan Dr. Faiz. Jadi apa kata kalau tanpa kita membuang masa, saya kenalkan tetamu-tetamu kita sebab malam ini kalau boleh biar saya kurang sikit bercakap. Diorang kata Dr. Hazli kalau mula cakap tu dia susah nak berhenti. Salah. Sebab kenapa? Pada malam ini saya boleh berhenti bercakap sebenarnya. Selalunya tak berhenti bercakap sebab seorang-seorang. Bila kalau tak cakap lagi orang kata siapa pula yang cakap kan? Okey. Jadi saya tanpa saya kenalkan seorang-seorang ya, bukan makna yang pertama yang saya kenalkan tu yang paling penting, tidak. Semuanya sama penting untuk pada malam ini. Tapi let me introduce the first one. First one ni semua orang kenal kot. Kalau saya ada sesuatu cakap apa untuk perkongsian, selalunya memang saya akan jemput dia ni dululah. Walaupun busy sangat dan hari ni pun dia tak ada dekat KL ni, dia tak ada di Selangor ni. Okey, siapa lagi? Dr. Faiz. Dr. Faiz pakar psikiatri, bertugas di UIA dan sebab itulah beliau masih ada di sana. Orang lain semua cuti merdeka, dia masih di penjara. Salah. Bukan bermakna di Kuantan itu seperti dalam penjara. Tidak kan Dr. Faiz? Dr. Faiz pakar psikiatri dan dia punya orang kata apa, banyaklah dia punya minat, tapi salah satu benda yang paling dia suka cakap ialah bila kita cakap tentang macam addiction, tentang spiritual lah, UIA kot kan. Okey. Dr. Faiz, selamat datang. Dah nampak muka Dr. Faiz belum ni? Dia
I think
hilang pula
doktor
slide ni.
he got out of the
Apa?
room for a
Dia
while.
memang macam tu. Kita jemput dia, lepas tu dia datang, lepas tu dia hilang. Dia memang macam tu. Dia memang seperti orang kata biskut chip small tu, Dr. Faiz lah tu. Okey, tapi tak apa. Sementara tunggu dia masuk, kita jemput yang kedua, Dr. Retina. Dr. Retina, dia medical doctor. Tapi sekarang ni dia punya minat, dia punya passion ni lah tentang untuk buat training, untuk nak bagi semua orang mentally healthy. Dan dia part of the Minda, the CEO of Minda Academy. Dia ni lah yang akan memulakan program-program untuk menambah lagi pengetahuan tentang kesihatan mental di Malaysia. Itulah cita-cita kita. Okey, Dr. Retina selamat datang. Apa khabar?
Thank you doktor. Baik. Apa khabar doktor?
Baik, sihat. Yang dah
Muka berseri hari ni.
dah makan malam belum ni?
Dah. Thank you so much for your parcel. Nasi lemak Saleha.
Okey. Nanti kita cakap pasal tu ya. Kita cakap pasal tu.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, kita ada sahabat kita, Tuan Tajul. Tuan Tajul, terima kasih datang. Terima kasih. Ini bos ni. Bos bukan. Saya dah orang jangan sebut bosku. Dia bos kita. Dia bos kita sebenarnya. Okay. Tetamu saya untuk Minda Blues pada malam ini yang ketiga, Amelia Tan. Pada mereka yang mungkin tidak kenal Amelia, saya pun baru kenal dengan Amelia. Okey, jadi Amelia dia ni orang kata apa pasal duit dia, tapi dia punya macam Dr. Retina, asalnya medical, Amelia asalnya accountant, tapi masih sama juga minatnya tentang education, tentang untuk buat sesuatu untuk melakukan perubahan kepada sistem education dekat Malaysia. Tapi dia tak nak jadi menteri, dia tak nak, sebab menteri kita tahu pun tak boleh buat apa kan. Jadi dia tak nak itu. And then she want to make some changes in terms of education, and then she's going to be part of Minda. Hopefully tengah pujuk ni we try to persuade her, kan Dr. Retina kan. Okay, tonight we are going to cakap campur-campur lah. Really, it's really rojak, it's really Malaysia, it's really yang kita katakan apa yang kita cuba nak dia punya content tu, kalau tak faham, kalau nak kita explain dalam bahasa bukan bahasa Malaysia, sepenuhnya bahasa Inggeris, tolong bagi tahu. Boleh Okey, Dr. Faiz apa khabar?
Alhamdulillah Dr. Azli, terima kasih. Dr. Azli apa khabar?
Sihat. Saya sihat dengan. Okey, kepada siapa-siapa nak bertanya apa-apa soalan ke, tolonglah tanya dan kita akan respon pada soalan itu. Tetapi sebelum kita ni mulakan apa-apa kan, saya dah nak cakaplah apa tujuan yang kita buat pada malam ini adalah we want to continue the theme of this year Independence Day, itu tentang family, tentang keluarga, dan bagaimana kita hendak nak sentuh tentang mental health family ni. Family sesuatu yang kita tahu adalah sokongan yang amat besar untuk seseorang itu kembali menjadi diri mereka setelah diuji dengan masalah kesihatan mental. There are always something that make us come back, that the place that we call home kan. Okay, jadi bila kita cakap pasal mental health in the family or mental health family with mental health issue, dia ada banyak benda yang kita boleh ni. Okay, tapi sebenarnya idea untuk datang pasal topik pada malam ini datang daripada Dr. Retina. Saya nak minta Dr. Retina introduce sekali lagi daripada Dr. Retina sendiri tentang who you are, apa you punya passion, dan apa merdeka itu maknanya pada Dr. Retina, dan apa yang boleh buatkan idea untuk datang topik pada malam ini. Banyak soalan tu. Ini salah satu contoh bila kita nak bertanya soalan pada orang, jangan tanya banyak sangat macam tu. Nanti dia tak tahu nak jawab mana satu. Patah balik, dia punya task nak buat apa, kenalkanlah diri sikit. Second, apa makna merdeka untuk Dr. Retina, dan yang tu apa buat idea datang, macam mana boleh datang idea tentang topik malam ini. Persilakan Dr. Retina.
Thank you Dr. Hazli. But Dr. Hazli, you were right memang banyak soalan tadi kan. But as soon as you started asking the question, I dah tulis dah semua soalan. So okay, boleh. I akan ikut turutan, jawab one by one. So first and foremost, Dr. Hazli, thank you so much for having me, Amelia and Dr. Faiz in this first Minda Blue series under the wing of your Monday Blue series. I'm very happy to be here, and salam merdeka kepada semua orang yang sedang menonton. So let's see a small introduction kan. Macam Dr. Hazli dah cakap, I'm a medical doctor, worked in pharmaceutical industry for quite some time, and then my passion untuk jadi seorang trainer tu sangat menyerlah lah kononnya sebab Dr. Hazli managed to pick it up. And he wants me to help him to build the academy dekat Minda. So that's why I'm on board. Jadi the fire tu sedang membara lah sekarang kan. Kita nak betul-betul create awareness and educate a lot of people tentang mental health so that we can live a more productive life in our country. Okay. So for me, what it means by merdeka, first kalau betul-betul nak jujur why it means a lot to me. First, public holiday. So kalau I dekat mana-mana pun state in Malaysia, I get a holiday. So that's one. Secondly, okay, why it means so much to me, I think no matter where I go, in whatever country for holidays, for visit, for work, I never felt macam I belong there. Never once. So sometimes the country, okay, dia punya apa, weather sangat cantik, dia punya the sightseeing is very nice and semua kan. But you will never have a sense of belonging. But I always have the sense of belonging when I'm here because I can trust the people that I know regarding any ethnicity, any race, okay? And for me, the sense of belonging is the utmost thing lah, yang paling besar tu lah. That's merdeka for me, right? So I have so many friends and family members who are Muslims, who are Chinese. So the close ones, I call them family. And I still feel kalau ada apa-apa kesusahan pun tak pernah I think twice before reaching out to them, even though they're not of my race or religion. So that is what I really think Merdeka is. And secondly, this topic mental health family. Actually family ni dia ada banyak definisi kan, Dr. Hazli. I mean, kita pernah bincang benda ni banyak kali kan, Dr. Aziz. Family is so many things, right? Your immediate family members, your friends, your colleagues, semua kan family kan? But today, when Dr. Hazli and I kita cakap, we were thinking, everyone will be together, right, on a public holiday, especially on 31st of August. We really want macam semua orang yang menonton series kita pada hari ini, betul-betul akan duduk dengan seisi keluarga, dengar, hopefully, fingers crossed, kita nak cakap tentang macam mana mental health dalam satu keluarga tu, between siblings, between parents, or if you're at work, your family at work, how is your mental health? Macam mana you define good mental health dekat you punya family dekat kerja, atau your friends, you know. So kalau kita nak cakap 1 jam tak cukup. Actually, 1 whole day pun tak cukup. So we thought, oh, interesting, let's do it on 31st August. So yeah, that's how we came with the topic, Doctor.
Okay, thank you Retina. Okay, betul. Kalau cakap memang kalau semua nak cakap memang kita memang sampai Merdeka tahun depan kot. Maksudnya kita nanti ramai orang terseksa. Itu yang kita tak nak sebab merdeka dia sometimes dia maksudnya kebebasan, kita releasekan kesakitan. That is sometimes kita boleh makna merdeka itu kepada orang yang macam tu kan, orang yang sakit, yang orang ada masalah, bila dia sihat kita dah merdekakan dia. Dan itulah kita punya tujuan kan, untuk kita memberikan rasa bebas itu, bebas dari sakit, bebas daripada masalah. Tapi tak naklah kita bebas daripada ahli keluarga. Sebab kadang-kadang ahli keluarga sendiri itu boleh menjadi penjajah, boleh menjadi orang kata colonize us. Yang itu yang kita tak nak. Kerana jadi sesuatu yang boleh menjadi support system, sokongan, and then it can be something detrimental to the mental state orang tu. Okay. Jadi sebab Dr. Faiz tadi dia hilang, as a hukuman, dia kena tunggu. We have to ask Amelia first. Amelia, share a little bit about introduce about yourself kan, and then sama soalan. What does Merdeka means to you, and macam family? What does it mean? How family and mental health, family. So what does strike you when you heard about mental health and family? Please, Amelia.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Selamat Hari Merdeka semua yang telah menonton. My name is Amelia. I'm a social entrepreneur. So it's like a business person tapi NGO, and we gabungkan the two. And so basically I've been working in education and I'm very passionate about mental health. My story is that I met Dr. Hazli, because I've been struggling quite a bit in my journey through depression and anxiety. And recently this month, I got diagnosed with ADHD, which means I am 36 right now, which means I've been undiagnosed for the last 36 years. So for me, what is Merdeka? Merdeka is about being free from the penjajah, right? Of course, right now in Malaysia, we tak ada penjajah anymore, right? But what we are being colonized with sometimes is the stigma of mental health, right? And for me, this Merdeka Day, I've been reflecting a lot about it, about how in Malaysia, last time I always felt like in Malaysia, it's not becoming the Malaysia that I feel like I grew up being taught, exposed to. But this year, I think I feel a lot of hope for the country because for my own growth, I feel like I finally freed myself from, my own mental health issues, right? I fought for my quality of life and I've regained that back. And that's thanks to Dr. Hazli, right? But at the same time, I also see, right now in Malaysia, people are more aware of mental health.
Amelia,
And
it's not
yes,
thanks to me, thanks to you. Thanks to you.
oh, thanks to myself, but also thanks to my support system, right? My family, my
Yes,
mental health
yes,
family,
yes.
right? For helping me because we
Mm.
cannot be bebas on our own. We need a community to, free ourselves from the shackles of colonialism, right? So for me, that's what Merdeka
Oh,
means for me today. I'm very happy celebrating my own growth, the growth of the people close to me, and also I think for me the growth of the country. I really truly believe right now in Malaysia people are becoming more aware of mental health. We're freeing ourselves, right? This is a second round of Merdeka for Malaysians, and I truly really believe in that. And for the next question, with family, for me family is the people that stand by your side when you are down. And for me, I've been very, very lucky to have family in the form of like my own parents, right? My siblings, but also my friends, and also sometimes strangers that come into my life to really, really help me. So, yeah, I think for me right now, um, Merdeka really means a lot to me right now because I really feel that as Malaysians, and also, of course, this team, this Minda team, which is so diverse, this is truly the Malaysia that I envision growing up. So thank you, everyone, for doing what you do.
yeah, thank you. Thank you, Amelia. It's so, yes, really nice to hear from that. So best, it's a lot of a point that itulah kita kalau kita nak cakap balik, nak kupas balik, wow, it's so no and so nice. Tadi Amelia cakap tadi kita nak keluar daripada nak bebas itu, most of the time kita tak boleh buat seorang-seorang. Tak boleh. There is no way. Sebab itulah kalau kita nak keluar, kalau kita nak dalam proses recovery, pemulihan itu tak boleh buat seorang-seorang. Sebab itulah kita perlukan sokongan. Dan it's nice to hear that when you said that family adalah mereka yang memberikan support, yang memberikan sokongan, even though it's not biologically daripada from the same because of we are born within that circle, but we can choose our own family, meaning that we can also get rid some of our family members if we want to, but that is not that easy as we thought. Dr. Faiz? Okay, Dr.
Ya
Faiz,
saya.
inilah Dr. Faiz apa, bukan last but not the least of course. Jadi Dr. Faiz introduce diri Dr. Faiz and then makna mereka ni maknanya apa? Dan apa mental health family ni apa maknanya pada Dr. Faiz?
Baik, terima kasih Dr. Azli, Dr. Retina, Miss Amelia dan juga Mat di belakang tabir. Harap suara jelas ya. Suara saya jelas Mat Dr. Azli?
Yes, doktor, jelas.
Okey,
Ya.
boleh. Cuma kena next time kita bagi bajet untuk bagi lampu sikit. Dr. Faiz
Lampu ada.
kurang
Lampu
aura
ada.
sikit malam ni.
Baik, saya Faiz Tahir kenal Dr. Azli pertama sekali jumpa di sebuah hospital di Lembah Kelang lah. Pertama kali saya jumpa dia. Dan beliau banyak memberi tunjuk ajar dan memberi kata-kata nasihat. Ya. Dan perjumpaan kami itu sebab dia senior saya semasa membuat latihan spesialis lah. Ya. Dan dari situ kita kenal lah tahun 2008 kalau tak silap lah. Dan sehingga kini alhamdulillah almost dah hampir 12 tahun lah kenal dengan Dr. Azli dan juga kenal dengan ramai rakan-rakan baru termasuk Dr. Retina, Mat Emilia saya tak pernah jumpa lagi in person, insyaAllah one of these days. Maksud merdeka pada saya secara ringkas untuk malam ini adalah kita bebas daripada fikiran-fikiran yang membelenggu kita. Ya. Kalau kita rasa kita tak boleh buat for whatever reason, dan saya rasa kita belum merdeka lagi lah in that sense. Okay. Dan maksud family ya, ini satu, Dr. Azli saja pilih isu sensitif. Dan buat masa ini family ya, saya berada lebih 200 km lebih daripada tempat saya berada sekarang kerana saya terkekang oleh tugas. Namun demikian, walaupun mereka tidak ada di sisi secara fizikal, kita tetap berhubung dan bertanya khabar. Dan juga, saya juga ada family di tempat kerja sini, walaupun mereka bukan dari darah daging dan sebagainya, tapi macam panelis lain semua kupas bahawa family tidak semestinya biological. It could be people yang support you, macam Mia cakap tadi, support you when you are at your lowest, they support you in any status that you are. So that's family, and alhamdulillah, I've been blessed with a lot of family members, and they are ever so helpful. And to be in Malaysia again, like Dr. Retina said tadi tu, it feels home lah. You feel like home. Can't really stay abroad for so long, and you're gonna miss Malaysia anyway. So yeah. So again, selamat Hari Merdeka semua, dan kembali kepada Dr. Azli.
Okay, terima kasih semua. I think and then just to show that every one of the guests tonight, they can really talk because it's not scripted. Tak ada apa-apa soalan awal, just tanya dia orang apa dia orang nak cakap, and then dia orang most of them kata tanya je apa dia orang nak tanya je. Oh, very confident, very confident. Okay, the whole idea about satu benda kan yang kita tahu yang bila kita kan Malaysian ni, macam mana kita nak tahu betapa seronoknya jadi Malaysia bila kita pergi overseas, tiba-tiba dengar orang cakap dan kita kata ini orang Malaysia, oh rasa macam wah, padahal pergi London tu baling batu je mesti kena orang Malaysia punya, ramai sangat, too many people. But again, when I think that is the spirit, and then today memang purposely saya minta datangkan tetamu tu untuk jemput from daripada Malay, Chinese, Indian. Sebenarnya we do not see the colours, we do not see that, because salah satu benda yang saya nak highlightkan juga pada malam ini, sebenarnya mental health does not discriminate, it does not discriminate any races, sama je. And then, tetapi, despite the similarities, there are also differences. That's the reason why it's a unity in diversity. And then by right, we have to learn from each other. Yang mana yang orang tu bagus sikit, take for our benefit. Mana yang not so good, maybe we can learn from that as well. Itu yang kita nak discuss pada malam ni. Jadi nak tengok contohnya kalau orang kalau ada depression contohnya, panic disorder, ADHD macam Amelia kata. ADHD adakah berbeza di antara satu bangsa lain, dan adakah family berbeza bila ahli keluarganya dapat satu diagnosis tu, respons dia berbeza ke sebenarnya sama? Ada konsep anak derhaka yang contoh banyak bila kita cakap pasal bila family ni, dia apply hanya untuk Muslim family ke ataupun dia across ada races as well, but dia panggil nama lain lah kot, Dr. Retina. Okay, but what are the good aspect for each of the different ethnicity, and then what are the good aspect of Malaysian family yang mana tak ada at other countries. Itu something this kind of idea that come to my head when Dr. Retina mentioned about this topic. So, jadi why don't we just kind of like free and easy kan? Can Amelia, maybe Amelia can share a little bit of your experience again, not growing up, and then how do you see the mental health in the family in your own experience? Again, we are not talking about this. Try to find blame, to try to find, oh, this is the reason for me to have all of this. No, we are talking in general, yeah, but again based on our experience, kita punya anecdotal lah. Tapi kita janganlah lepas ni ada pula yang nak saman kita kata referring pada siapa, Dr. Faiz. Kita bukan refer pada mana-mana family tau. Kita cakap ni general, but sometimes reflect to our own experience. Kita start Amelia dulu sebab Amelia jadi just nice when you said about your own discovery, and then how does the family, and then from your observation also with other family, at least from your experience, right, Amelia? And
Yeah,
then after that,
yeah, sure,
Dr. Faiz, Dr. Retina can comment on that also. Can put some input and from their perspective.
Yeah, so my experience with mental health growing up in a Chinese household is there's zero awareness. um, and I think like this is a very common, I think this is not just a Chinese family thing. I think this is a very Asian family thing where whenever you talk about mental health, they don't say mental health, they say crazy. You're crazy, right? And that's the stigma. You don't want to talk about anything about being depressed or sad, because I think orang masa dulu kan, maybe because life was very hard, um, and they all have to be strong to support their family. They come from poverty, so they have to become very tough. So you cannot show any signs of weakness, because weakness means you cannot take care of your family, right? I think like that's what I observe within my family dynamics, right? People don't want to talk about weakness, right? Um, it's something shameful, to say that, or if someone is like not feeling very well, they always like whisper, oh, that person is like, it's like something very shameful, right? And I really think this has a lot to do with the fact that, um I don't know, this is maybe just within Chinese culture, that there's this whole perception of an ego, safe face. We have this thing growing up. You don't talk about these things openly because you keep it in the circle. So I think growing up, and I think after I began my therapeutic journey, then only I realized, actually, when I look back, actually my therapeutic journey began with my mother. When my mother had was diagnosed with cancer, right? Her cancer was stage 0 cancer. So it was not the cancer that actually turned our family upside down. It was her anxiety from the cancer. She developed PTSD from the cancer. And that was my first exposure to mental health, actually. And at one point, I didn't know what else to do, so I brought her to a therapist, and that was actually when I first got exposed to therapy. So my mom is considered quite open-minded, so she is like, even though she is in her 60s, she's quite open-minded, is willing to learn and all that. So quite different, and I'm very glad to have her in my life. So always ask me questions and stuff like that. Whereas my father is like an amazing, very kind person, but not so open to it, right? Because I guess also because as the man in the house, you have to be strong, and he's so used to that. But I think after having a daughter that talks about mental health all the time, I can see he's slowly, understanding and realizing there were moments in his life where he was depressed, right? Because my father went through a triple bypass, right? And he was sad at one point. So I think like, being able to have open conversations about mental health, even though despite the stigma, I share a lot about my mental health on social media a lot. And my mom would tell me, your auntie asked, why you post about all these things online, and it's so cute because my mom would then tell them, no, these things exist. Even you've been sad before. So now my mom's educating all my aunties about mental health, right? So that's why I feel like in a way I'm quite I guess excited for Malaysia, right? Because if someone like my mother who's in her 60s is learning about mental health and now being able to communicate this two of my other aunties in Cantonese, right? And she's actually tying it back to her past, her mother, realizing that her mother was probably depressed as well, and went through certain issues, right? And I think like that openness and willingness to discuss this, even though it is still quite a long way to go, I would say just within, I wouldn't just say in Chinese society, I think Malaysian society in general, we still have a long way to go to be able to speak about this openly. But I do feel that right now, especially like right now, you have something like Minda, more and more people are being more aware. I am quite hopeful that in the future, conversations about mental health will become as normal as conversations about going to the gym. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, it's really kind of very hopeful and optimistic to when you said that at the age of 60 we're still able to change the way we
Yeah.
see, and then the open conversation, and then interesting also the level of education does not really correlate with the level of understanding when it comes to mental health. Because itulah sebab itu ya kita ingat, oh jangannya pandai-pandai macam Dr. Faiz dekat akademik profesor tu, tapi kadang-kadang profesor pun uh, dia tidak boleh menerima buta fikiran dan buta hatinya juga untuk menerima tentang mereka yang diuji when we are being tested with depression and other anxiety kan. How about Dr. Retina, your own
Sorry.
experience, your own journey? Dr.
Tazli,
Faiz want to say something?
Celah sikit je. I just want to respond to Miss Amelia tadi. Thank you for your sharing your story. But there's one thing that I have to say that I'm not quite comfortable about talking about going to the gym lah. I have to state that. Sorry.
Apa dia macam mana?
I'm not quite
Pasal apa?
comfortable
Dia
about
pergi ke
talking
gym?
going to the gym. Yeah, not
It
quite
was a
comfortable
Merdeka
talking about
joke.
going to the gym.
It was a Merdeka joke. He doesn't
Pergi
want
to
to go
the
to the
gym?
gym.
Anyway, back to you, Dr. Retina.
Tapi Dr. Faiz,
Yes.
Dr. Faiz, itu yang kita perlu bebaskan. Kita perlu bebaskan daripada berfikiran begitu.
Baik.
Dr.
Dr. Retina,
Faiz,
please.
Yes.
I just lost my trail of thoughts thanks to you. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I think, right, Dr. Hazli, I will resonate 99.9% with whatever Amelia mentioned tadi. And bila Dr. Hazli cakap tadi kan, that mental health doesn't discriminate. Trust me, I know so many families, even if they are an Indian family, when dia punya anak ke uncle ke auntie ke, when they have been diagnosed dengan mental health diagnosis ni, they actually bring them to the surau to go and see somebody. They actually bring the person to a tokong Cina and to meet someone. So it clearly, mental health, there's no discrimination, because at the end of the day, I just want my child or this person to be healthy, kan? And I have seen that. So that is why I think I agree with 2 points. One, when Amelia mentioned that, the low self-awareness, the lack of knowledge, and then secondly, when Dr. Hazli mentioned that mental health doesn't discriminate, because I think in Indian family it's just the same lah, like what Amelia mentioned, kan? Even with a Chinese family or a Malay family, when someone is diagnosed, first thing first, macam mana I nak bawa anak I pergi jamuan kenduri minggu ni, dia dah lah macam ni, tak nak keluar daripada bilik, macam ni, dia tak nak mandi, dia tak nak makan, dia tak nak tidur. She looks so sick, he looks so sick. Macam mana nak bawa, okay, if I'm going to a wedding next month, what am I going to tell my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, that, my daughter's not here, my son is not here. So instead of talking about social stigma, the relative stigma tu besar sangat dalam family. The relative stigma, I'm not talking about intermediate family members, but the relative stigma is so huge, so huge. I think it's a process, Dr. Hazli. I'm so glad that, I'm not glad that pandemic happened. What I'm trying to say is that I'm so glad that part of the consequences daripada pandemic, mental health is given very macam mana? Ada kantor pembesar. Everybody is zooming every day. Mental health, mental health, mental health, right? It's a good thing. On another note, what I'm seeing, because of course I'm closely knitted with the Indian community, every other person I'm seeing, I think I'm depressed. And then I'm thinking, okay, can you give me 2 symptoms, 3 symptoms that you're depressed? So I feel they are also overly using the term and they are self-diagnosing themselves because they are hearing a lot about mental health. So kalau satu hari kerja sangat stress, balik rumah, I think I'm depressed lah. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Itu pun ada. And I think that is happening in every community, but I'm seeing a lot happening in Indian community as well because they're all exposed to a lot of info tentang mental health. So overly macam mana cakap they feel like they know a lot of things, so they're self-diagnosing and then they will say, I think I'm depressed, but it's okay, in 2 days I'll be okay already, no problem. So there are also a lot of people that I tengok macam tu lah, Dr. Hazli.
And that is unfortunately kan Retina, it can make more stigmatized, because
Betul.
and then people will now think that mental health is like again people can just faking it, and then
Yep.
it's not really something we have to take seriously, right?
Yeah. And Doctor,
So
sekarang
yeah.
kan, when still there's a lot of people reaching out to me and saying, hey, you are in the mental health realm, right? So can you help me this and that? First thing they will tell me, please don't tell my parents, please don't tell my family. Please don't inform the workplace because a lot of my ex-colleagues are having anxiety and depression. So first thing, please don't tell anybody, keep it to yourself. So I still rasa macam we got a lot of work to do, guys. A lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dr. Faiz, macam mana ni? So, hopefully, uh, people will be able to talk about their not going to the gym, their problem for not going to the gym, as easy as when they having problem in control their sugar, and then also having problem in control their motivation and emotion. So how are we going to change? Some of us are allergic towards narrative, but how are we going to change the story and this kind of narrative ni? Because hopefully, people will uh, will will handle or will treat uh, physical illnesses and mental illnesses as the same illnesses. Mental health problem, weight problem, uh, and then financial problems as the same problems that we need to handle with it or outside the family. Dr. Faiz, macam mana tu?
Thank you, Dr. Azli. How come I got the difficult question? Sengaja. Anyway. Okay, let me see. Just, but it's all about talking about change. When you want to do something and you're not used to doing it, you need support. You need information. And I think support is one of the greatest things that one could ask for, because without support, then everything is just not going to go comfortably for people who do want to change. Like mentioned earlier, we mentioned that back in the 70s, the 80s, people didn't talk about mental health that much. It's always a taboo subject. But now you see people as young as 15, as 20-year-olds, they're coming to the clinic, sometimes without their parents or their guardians. They're asking about their mental health. They're asking that they want treatment, and you'll be surprised. And in a way, I see that they have liberated themselves somewhat from the stigma that they have at home. And it's something that, I didn't, it was something which was quite moving in a way, because this person was not even 18 and she wanted treatment or some evaluation for her condition. And she mentioned that at home, her parents were not supportive. And this is, if I can mention this from a Malay family, their parents were not supportive. I asked her or him to come with one of their parents at least, and now they're too busy, they don't want me to take medication and all that. But to see her, struggle, not just, she's not struggling, I wouldn't say that she's struggling, I'm saying that she is looking for support, she's looking for information to help her go through that journey, and not everyone has this. So as a service provider, I think that's important for us to understand that our clients or patients come from different backgrounds and they have different needs, and we also have to deal with their family that have different beliefs and different ideologies and all that. So in short, helping people to change from A to B, sometimes they can't do it alone, so we need to be there to assist them through their change. I'll give you an example for people trying to quit substances, right? Illicit substances or nicotine. It's difficult for some people, and they will sometimes come up with all sorts of um, alasan, sorry, call alasan, excuses, ya. Excuses, buat macam-macam alasan, kata nanti gemuk lah, nanti kena penyakit jantung lah, doktor kata susah hisap rokok balik lah, aku tidak nanti, all these kind of things. So it is up to the people around them, their family members, their spouse, their adik-beradik, the doctors, the healthcare providers, advocates, to actually assist them to go through that process of change comfortably. And it requires skills. It requires skills. Because sometimes most of our patients say that they do want to change, they do want to have better things in their life, but what people are advising them are like macam, oh, doa lah lagi, or kena semayang lebih sikit, sabar, redha dan sebagainya. So it is right information, but the timing and the way that it is delivered is not correct, and therefore this is the thing that we need to learn ourselves, or also teach other people who want to help other people to change, right? So like you mentioned earlier on, our panelists mentioned that sometimes the harshest criticisms comes from our own family members. So back to you, Dr. Hazli.
Yeah. Then apa yang saya nampak kan, it come back to kita kena tambah ilmu. We have to improve our knowledge. Sebab itulah education tentang benda ni penting. We need to continue the conversation, and then conversation tu kita kena looking at the level that people can understand, kan? Maksudnya kita tak boleh maksudnya just one module ke satu benda tu, this is going to make the changes tu. Okay, itu kita penting, meaning that improve the knowledge. Kita kena bercakap dengan bahasa, dengan term yang boleh difahami. Sometimes benda ini pun yang tidak membantu, kan, dia confusing. Tadi yang Amelia kata crazy, maksudnya gila tu ada je di setiap ethnic group tu, sama je, kan? Maksudnya benda yang sama kita faham. And then it's satu benda yang kita tak nak cakap, kita nak lindung. Dan interesting also yang kita tengok, kena pergi kenduri tu, kena. Kalau tidak, tak pergi. Salah. Kalau anak pergi pun salah, sebab nanti orang nampak anak kita lain daripada yang orang anak orang lain. Kita pada masa sama kita nak macam anak orang lain, pada masa sama kita nak anak kita lebih daripada orang lain. Nak berjayanya setakat dapat 8A tak cukup, nak lebih. Itu kadang-kadang itu yang buatkan anak ataupun ahli keluarga itu keliru, confused. Apa sebenarnya yang mereka perlu buat? Dan yang tadi daripada Amelia, daripada Retina and Faiz juga, bila kita cakap pasal mental illness ni, kita cakap as if it's a weakness. Not an illness, it's a weakness. Yang mana yang malu, kita tak nak kita bercakap tentang ini. Dan bila kita cakap pasal weakness tu, maksud dia kita tak naklah kita nak kena kuat, dan sampai bila kita nak kuat. Padahal mereka yang diuji ni, mereka yang ada masalah ni, ada penyakit ni, mereka amat kuat. Itu satu lagi yang bila words tadi saya gunakan tu, masalah. Masalah, jadi mereka ni masalah. Mereka datang ini as a problem. Kadang-kadang perkataan yang kita guna tu kan, as a service providers, as the helper, apa masalah yang kita boleh kita seolah-olah kita nampak setiap yang datang berjumpa kita itu masalah yang perlu diselesaikan, a problem that we need to be solved. There's some element of it's a negative meaning already. Padahal we just want to understand their experience, and then so that we can make them have a different experiences, which is much more meaningful. So the whole idea of mindset, kita kena ubah juga kan. Kita kena liberated kan dia tu. Merdekakan daripada melihat mereka yang datang berjumpa kita itu, yang datang untuk mempelajari sesuatu yang baru itu sebagai mereka yang bermasalah, yang perlu diberlakukan sesuatu. Tetapi kita,
Dr.
kenapa
Azli.
kita nampak sebagai mereka yang sedang untuk menambah ilmu, want to improve their knowledge information, yang perlu kita bantu dan itu yang kita kena ubahkan sedikit. When we do that, we do not see them as a problem or something, and then we don't have to feel fine to who make them cause all of this. So we remove the element of blaming also. Kadang-kadang kenapa ahli keluarga kita punya ibu bapa, it's not because of they embarrassed, yes, they malu-malu, but again, because they want to be blamed also. They don't want to be to feel that they are contribute to that. So it come back to understanding. So jadi betul lah kan kenapa kita ini ada promosi sikit kenapa kita nak buat Minda Academy kan Dr. Retina, sebab kita tahu betapa pentingnya for us to improve on the education. Kenapa kita perlu improve the mental health literacy. Sebab Dr. Faiz kata dia nak membuatkan perubahan. Dia nak want to do change, dan change tu start dengan daripada akar umbi, daripada atas, daripada bawah. So that is the important of academy. Itu kita rasa Minda walaupun sebagai healthcare, it's not just healthcare. Tidak fokus on the training and education. That is the spirit yang kita kena bawa. A lot of prevention and promotion yang kita kena buat. Itu belum lagi cakap pasal recovery dan semuanya kan. Itu satu benda. Jadi for me, I nampak seperti biasalah. Itulah susahnya kalau I dah cakap banyak ni, orang kata bersemangat apa semua jadi ni dah tak nak bagi orang lain cakap. Feel free.
You have so much in you, doctor. You have so much in you.
Apa dia?
No, you have so much in you.
Oh, okay. No, bukan apa, sebab dah lama ada peluang untuk sebab dah lama tak ada peluang nak bercakap kat Mandi Blues. Lepas ni nak minta Mat tolong start baliklah Mandi Blues.
Kena buat dah ni.
Saya celah sikit je boleh? Sikit je saya celah. Sikit je boleh? Boleh Dr. Azli sikit When you mention tadi bila Dr. sebut tentang masalah, when we see as mental health as masalah, so I remember a few of my clients, my patients kan, they see what they have to as a problem, sebagai satu masalah, right? So what we do is that we change the way that they look at things, kan? Rather than it being a masalah, so we find a way that to see that this is as a blessing, sebagai satu reminder, sebagai satu peringatan, sebagai satu benda yang sangat special padanya, in the sense that they agree. Because sebagai contoh, jika dia tidak sedih, jika dia tidak murung, jika dia tidak anxious, then they would have never imagined the kemanisan hidup tu, Like macam contoh lah, you sentiasa ada banyak duit, tak pernah miskin, and then suddenly you go bankrupt ataupun you don't earn as much. And then you would feel that every penny tu is priceless, is precious. And that's what some of my patients feel. They feel that, oh, this is a good reminder, this is a blessing, that now I appreciate life more, I appreciate my life more, I appreciate the people around me more, and this is what's happening. So we need to change that idea that it's a masalah, is an issue, is an ailment, so on and so forth. It is from certain perspective, tetapi from another perspective, it is something that reminds us about life. And the other thing that I could probably add in sekali adalah, hang on, I lost my train of thoughts. Dr. Retina didn't do anything. Just give me 10 seconds. Masalah, change, I don't know, just doesn't come right now.
Baik, sebab itulah kita suruh pergi gym. Whatever that good for the physical is good for the mental.
I can't remember.
Pergi gym dah dapat suddenly got the thought block.
Anyway, continue. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, tapi nanti Dr. Faiz datang balik idea
Yeah.
tu tolong bagi, sebab anything that come from you I think is worth to be shared.
Thank you, Dr. Azli.
Some of them lah, not all, some of them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if I
Okay,
may add on to what
kita ada
Dr.
soalan.
Faiz was saying,
Silakan.
Please.
if I could just add on to what Dr. Faiz was saying, actually, I recently had a conversation with a mentor of mine, right? And I was reflecting with her about like how nature has been a huge part of my healing process, with my depression and anxiety. And she told me this, she said this one thing that really blew my mind, because I feel like we are all part of nature as well, right? And she said this: plants can only bear fruits after going through stress. And we are no different from a plant, actually. We are all parts of God's creation. And for us to reframe the whole thinking that, this thing called post-traumatic growth, right? After going through trauma, going through stress, that is like, you said the uji, right? Like every cabaran, there is a lesson behind every cabaran. And I think if we all learn to see that when we go through a period of downtime, that's actually for us to come back up and rise again. I think that message is really, really important for us to share with people who are going through hard times. It is not a weakness, it's a test of your strength. And if you're able to reach out for help, it shows how courageous you are. So I think like that message needs to be put out there for everyone to realize, that people who are actually going through the toughest times in their life and opening up, they are the strong ones. They are the ones who are strong.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely true.
Yep.
Absolutely true.
Yep. Thank
I
you,
remember
thank
now,
you,
Dr. Azli. Thank you, Amelia. I remember now. From sebut buah tadi tu, I got a little bit of glucose there. Now I remember now. So what I was trying to say is that some patients that they are, when they come to see you kan, dia dalam keadaan tidak tahu, dalam keadaan keliru, dalam keadaan yang mana dia menerima maklumat yang salah dan mungkin palsu dan serong. For instance, kata you have a patient with schizophrenia, they don't know what's going on, right? Or they don't know what's going on, especially if they're in a certain phase. And the family also don't know what's going on. So they don't know what to expect. They become fearful. They become ashamed. But when they do see people like psychologists or psychiatrists or advocates and tell them that this is a certain condition which is so and so and so and so and so, and this is what we can do. Regardless of what happens afterwards, at least they know what they have. At least they know what they should do. And this is something which is liberating to, if not all patients, but most patients that we see. So that's what I wanted to say. Back to you.
Yep. That is consistent with the theme of Merdeka. Dr. Retina want to say something?
Yeah, Doctor. I actually saw the comment daripada Cik Sobiha Salim. I want to answer that.
Okay, good. Can we Retina read about it, and then we can discuss and then give our thought on this? Yeah, it's very good, very good.
Very, very good. And I think I also have faced that situation. That's why I want to answer. So earlier, Dr. Retina mentioned that some families feel uncomfortable on how or what to say when their child has mental health issue dan tak nak keluar bilik, tak nak pergi kenduri and all. But on contrary, my challenge is that I went to kenduri, smiling, wearing pretty clothes, and yet relatives are saying, she's not sick pun, she still can eat and all. Okay. Sobiha, Miss Sobiha, if you're still listening to me, maybe you can type there, how old are you? Because you know why? Okay, I'll tell you this. When it happened to me, for example, take so much of effort, put makeup, tie sari, pergi kenduri, kan? And then some relatives, definitely bukan semua yang tahulah kan? You okay Okay what, not bad. You look pretty only. Same thing, Sobiha, so I can relate. But let me tell you, at that point of time, probably say I was 25, 26, I know myself for 26 years old. I do not know how long they know me. I do not know how much they know me. Kenali diri kita dulu. Accept who we are, digest it, dan kita kena bagi tahu diri kita sendiri ni, I know myself better. It's okay. Your opinion, you can keep it to yourself. No problem. Kalau orang bagi tahu pun, oh really? Yeah. I think I'm okay, cool. I just cakap macam tu and I go on with my life. Because kalau kita tak cakap benda tu pada diri kita, forever everybody's comment, macam ni lah Cik Sobiha akan remember punya. Of course you'll remember. Kenapa dia orang cakap macam tu? First step, kenali diri kita and tell ourselves that we are more than enough. We are more than enough to be who we are. So yes, Sobiha is 31. 31 years, you know yourself better than anybody else, Miss Sobiha. And kudos, thank you so much for writing that comment actually. Thank you.
Yeah, and then the whole idea again, we also know people who have anxiety, depression, they are very good in hiding. So, and then because they know if they show the true colors, people don't like it. People make a comment also when they try to pretend that they are okay, and people make a comment also. So betul lah macam Retina cakap, we cannot win. We always going to be on the losing end or the team if we think too much. We listen, but we don't take that as a fact. In fact, we know ourselves better. Betul, but in order for us to face that, it's also a process. Macam Dr. Faiz cakap, that's why it's important for us to cakap apa to being to experience the difficulties and in order for us to appreciate the kemanisan tu, the sweetness of the challenge that we have. Easier said than done. That's the reason that we need to provide the support for people who in need and the right kind of support. Bukannya komen-komen yang kata-kata semangat, nasihat yang terlalu awal ataupun tidak sepatutnya. Ya, dan saya nampak juga kat situ ada kawan saya, Nigel Sunny. Dan okey, bila sebut nampak Nigel,
Sekejap. Sebelum pergi ke tadi tu, boleh, Dr. Azli?
Boleh.
Sometimes I get questions from my clients or patients. They tell me a long story and they ask, Doctor, what should I do? You know, they ask that. And I seldom give them answers because I would tell them, I don't really know your real situation. I don't know who you are. You have been for the past, like Dr. Retina kata tadi, for the past 10, 15 years. I do not know you. I do not know your family members. It's not easy for me to say what you should do because I think that we will have to discuss this together. Kita kena sampai kepada satu keputusan bersama based on what you think is best, not what I think is best for you. I don't want to be that paternalistic healthcare provider. Oh, you should do this, you should do that, because one of the things that demotivates people or doesn't enhance internal motivation is telling people what to do. I know it sounds odd because sometimes patients says that you're the doctor, you should know what is to be done. I not necessarily, not all the time. Most of the time, I would like them to come up with suggestions, the pros and cons of doing this or doing that. And I mean, Alhamdulillah, most of the time they're happy with the decision. And whatever it is, I keep telling them, saya sentiasa beritahu mereka, whatever that you decide upon today is based on the information that you have right now. If things changes in the future, don't regret your decision now because you do not have information then. This is the information that you had. This is the support that you have. So you make this decision and it's fine. Of course, things will change 5 days, 5 months down the line, and you will say, "Allah, kenapa aku ambil keputusan ni?" No, don't regret that. We are, like Dr. Retina said, we are good enough to know ourselves and make decisions based on our resources. Balik pada Dr. Azli tadi. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I know that we said that we're 1 hour, but I think we extend a little bit, yeah. Boleh ya? All the panelists boleh ya? Okay, because I think we want to talk. Yeah, so that's why I said Dr. Ritina initially want to only do on for 30 minutes. I said 30 minutes. I'm the only one who can talk lah for 30 minutes. Okay. Okay, just now I mentioned Nigel Sunny ni because dia pun is always support when talking about mental health, and then he remind me to talk about the family that we we have to face also in the workplace, whether we want or we don't want. We know sometimes what happened in the office replicate what happened at home in the family, or the thing that happened in the office somehow the same happen in the family also. Cuma I tak nak lah. I think nanti kita kena cakap about toxic in the workplace ni. Kita kena ambil one session Dr. Retina. Toxic in workplace ni
Yes.
tak
2
boleh
hours
cakap waktu
2
ni.
hours or 1 day
2
session.
hours.
Okay, tak
We
cukup
have to
masa.
talk about how to get freedom from people, toxic people in workplace ni. We dedicate that for one session. Cuma I want to ask this question to all the panelists for tonight. What are the things, because all of you is like experience working in the office, what are the good thing that the character or the something in the office that we should bring home to the family, and what are the value or the character in the at home in the family that we should practice in the office in order for us to improve our mental health. Yang faham tak soalan saya ni? Nampak macam soalan viva exam lah pula. Wah, apa yang nak cakap kan? Ada tak benda-benda yang bagus yang berlaku dekat office, dekat workplace tu yang kita boleh bawa ke keluarga, ke family? And ada tak benda-benda yang positif dekat family yang kita boleh bawa ke office? Yang benda buruk kita cakap nanti sesi nanti Minda Blues kedua. Minda Blues kedua kita cakap pasal benda yang tak best. Tapi untuk merdeka ini, apa benda-benda yang kita really want to hear from Amelia, from Retina, Faiz, yang mungkin orang kat luar sana pun nak tahu yang kita boleh lakukan sesuatu perubahan. How to make mental health in workplace much healthier, and kita punya keseronokan dekat dalam keluarga itu bertambah kalau kita ada nilai-nilai yang kita boleh bawa daripada tempat kerja ataupun bisnes ataupun startup. Startup pun semua stres tapi mana dah tahu Amelia. Okay. Who want to start first? Feel free. Siapa
Amelia,
nak
you
start
wanna go
mula
first?
dulu? Tak nak.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
A for Amelia.
I
Okay.
can start first. Okay, I don't know like the direct answer to that. I feel like behaviors that are healthy in the workplace will automatically be healthy at home. So if someone is healthy at home, they'll be healthy in the workplace. If someone is healthy in the workplace, they'll be healthy at home. Right? So I think it depends. I've been in work environments that have been very toxic, right? Where I'm treated like a robot, I'm treated like a machine, I'm treated where I have to work nonstop. But I've also worked with bosses who are very understanding, where I remember as a junior executive in an investment bank once, I made a really big mistake. And he saw that I was already very scared, right? And he basically I went to him, I'm like, oh my God, what should I do? I made this mistake. And he's like, he was so calm, right? And like he never scolded me, right? And then after everything, he fixed the problem. I asked him, like, boss, like, I'm so sorry, like, why didn't you scold me? And he said, like, look, you're already scolding yourself. I don't have to do it. You are already like stressed. There's no point in me making you feel worse because you already feel bad. I need you to perform. So I know you will learn from this lesson. But that's the thing, right? I think because of that exposure to that specific boss, I respected him so much that I told myself if I were to ever lead a team, I will lead a team like that. Because when I left the bank, I was supposed to tender 1 month notice. I actually extended my resignation by 3 months so that I can help him finish up a project because I respected him so much. So I feel like these like kindness, right? Being a good listener. So I wouldn't say like exactly workplace, but this is more of like a specific person that I met in the workplace that I felt like was such a healthy leader, And I think like if you're someone who's a healthy leader in the workplace, automatically I think you would be a healthy leader at home. I may be wrong, but this is the deduction that I am concluding. But that is like essentially what I think. Like, if someone is healthy at home, they will automatically be healthy in the workplace. Hopefully.
Yeah, Amelia, actually, you already, that is my, it's supposed to be my conclusion, but you already say it already. But actually, what I'm trying to say that it's supposed to be that way, right? We're supposed to be consistent in one to another. Otherwise, we are we are kind of like very compartmentalized, kan? We are we saying that, oh, we are going to be a different person when we are at home and when we are in the office, right? It's not supposed to be that way, but it's a work-life balance. Once we punch card or when we in the office, suddenly we have become a different individual. And I think that is something that we need to realize pula. You dah conclude dah pada semua tu. Okay, Dr. Retina and Dr. Faiz, bye-bye je lah. Dah habis.
Bye.
Okay, of course. How about any your input, Dr. Retina or Dr. Faiz want to share?
Cerita
Start
lah,
first?
Yeah,
silakan.
Dr. Faiz,
Oh,
you can go
Retina.
first.
Oh, Tina, silakan.
Oh, actually, I just want to share two experience. Then maybe Dr. Faiz can conclude it after that. I was known to be a workaholic before. It's not good, I will never say that in my trainings. But I used to be a workaholic and constantly burn out semua. So I realized one day when I'm at home, if I can't do certain things kan, kalau I nak pergi letak pinggan dekat zinc pun, Ma, please help me. When you can't perform a task on your own, you have to seek for help. A lot of people at workplace don't do that. I realize at home, so convenient. Kalau ada benda kecil-kecil tak boleh buat pun, daddy please help me, mommy please help me, my brothers please help me. But in workplace, you think that you want to do everything on your own. You want to be the most excellent person. It triggered me, one incident dekat rumah. From then, I was actually thinking, I need to start asking for help. So when I actually applied it in my workplace, things pretty much got easier. So there's one thing that I think an experience that you can cultivate. If there is something nice that you can bring from your family, from what's happening at home, you nak bawa dekat tempat kerja. That's something that I learned. And another one from workplace, right? Something that I can apply at home. I'm pretty structured, organized in the way I work. Everything ada Excel sheet, Microsoft Word, semua lah. Every single thing I write down. That's probably one of the stressor point. Tapi when I go back home, when I handle certain things, I'm also very planned and structured. It makes a family event happen nicely. It makes even how to say something, if there even a crisis dalam family pun, because you're so taught kan, you diajar daripada macam-macam training dekat workplace, how to do this properly from A to Z kan, you tend to apply that even with your family members. So that's a plus. So like this, there are so many things yang kita boleh bawa daripada kita punya rumah ke workplace, workplace to your house. But eventually, like what Amelia said, if you are healthy, happy, most importantly happy in your house, I think you boleh buat benda-benda macam ni. Secara natural, you can think, actually I can apply like this, macam tu. But if you're not healthy, if you're not happy both in your family life or even in your workplace, I think Dr. Hazli, kita tak boleh fikir pun macam mana kita nak apply kan. Kalau tabiat tu baik pun, kalau kita tak ada mindset yang normal, we can't apply either way. So essentially, I think the conclusion yang Amelia cakap tu is very important, so that kita faham macam mana kita nak apply the good things from each and every corner of your life, workplace or family.
Yeah. And then what I learned from what Retina said just now, we need to, we know that even though how good we are, how strong we are, at the time that we need help is either at home or in the office.
Betul.
And then the ability to ask for help is the skill that most of us do not have. Or there are barriers for us asking help in the way that do not make us feel guilty or feeling bad about it. Itu pun nanti kita akan ajar, kita buat training, skill in asking help without us asking help smartly. So kita ajar dia nanti ya.
Betul. Ada sekali tu Dr. Azli, I think I'll never forget that. My mom said, bring me to Metro Point Kajang. And then I tersilap tanya, I was working. Then I said, Ma, what's your objective? Huh? My mom look at me. Hello, I'm your mother, you are not in the office. Apa benda objektif? Objektif ni aku tak faham. Metro Point pun perlukan objektif ah. Then I was like, okay Retina, you need to calm down. But yeah, sometimes
No.
kita tak boleh too much lah.
No, sebab you want to maybe you want to know whether want to go to metro in happy mode, in a safer way. Or
Could be, yes. Okay, over to you, Dr. Faiz.
Dr. Faiz,
Okay.
Dr. Faiz.
Okay. This is from what clients share, not basically my personal experience lah kan, because we have to be fair to everybody. But anyway, it's just going to be a one-liner. Whoever came up with the idea that workplace should be like family must be from human resource. So go figure. All right.
Thanks for the one-liner. It helps my training.
Okay.
Itu je, I just
Yeah,
want to say,
I think,
I can't wait for the next session. I can't wait for that.
No, I think maybe for the next session ataupun in that session is a toxic in the workplace ni. Bila toxic, they need more than one session. Banyak session sebab want to a lot of things. And then maybe one of the session tu we need to get from the human resource department.
Yeah.
Because how toxic they are, and then how much they understand how they can be toxic to others, and how they themselves want to detoxify. And then that is
Good.
something that actually is because again, most of us, we don't want to be the problems, right? We know we don't want to have problems. At the end of the day, that happen without kita tak ada plan, tak sedar pun. Dan most of us, we realize also, people who are toxic in workplace or toxic in the family, most of them did not realize they are the source of the toxicity. So I think that is something. And then the best part also, they won't listen to all the webinar talking about toxic in workplace also. Maybe we can record that session and send to the one who we think that has a potential or the toxic one. So we make it in nice bottle and send to them. All of it, so that we can have much more many more people in the workplace, so that kita tukar daripada jadi racun kepada jadi
Madu.
apa? Jadi
Madu.
penawar lah.
Madu.
Jadi kita
Madu.
when we able to do that kan, kita akan memerdekakan ramai
Yes.
orang daripada
Yeah.
dijajah oleh mereka yang toksik ini.
Yes.
Okay, ini janji tau. Kita kena buat betul-betul sebab kita akan buat plan betul-betul macam mana untuk kita
Betul-betul.
menghadapi toxic in toxicity in workplace ni. Boleh ke
Okay,
Dr. Tina?
Mesti boleh. If Dr. Faiz say boleh, I'm boleh.
Ayo, don't lah.
Okay. Jadi kita nak buat last from everyone ni sebelum kita end this session. Just final words, if one liner better, kalau cannot 2-3 lines also okay. Kita start dengan Retina, and then Faiz, and then Amelia. Boleh?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
anyone siapa-siapa nak start dulu pun boleh. Nanti ada pula ni.
Doktor one-liner je kan?
No, boleh.
One-liner je?
Saya one liner susah. Hanya Dr. Faiz saja yang boleh buat. One lain tak boleh.
Ayo, I need one training lah session from Dr. Faiz like this. Okay, kepada semua yang mendengar, you are enough, you are awesome, and happy Merdeka. So simple. See you in the next session.
Wow. Okay, my probably something for me is that
I was expecting for one-liner.
dah banyak sikit. Untuk mencapai kemerdekaan itu perlu usaha yang tinggi. Okay. Perlu pengorbanan yang besar. Dan untuk mengekalkan kemerdekaan itu memerlukan usaha yang jauh lebih tinggi. So, when you have achieved merdeka, then you have to work hard to keep yourself merdeka from whatever that's been, disturbing you or been, influencing you in a negative way. Itu saya punya penutup lah. Back to you, Dr. Azli.
Amelia dulu, lepas tu saya.
Okay.
Amelia.
I'll take my one-liner from Dr. Faiz' background. At the end of the day, adding on to what Dr. Faiz says, that bersama, right? We are struggling together, and like we need a community, and we need all of us to start having mental health conversations, breaking stigmas, so that we become strong as a country, right? And I really believe if we can solve this mental health crisis that's happening in our country, we will be able to solve all the problems in our country. I truly believe that. So, Selamat Hari Amerika, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.
Amelia, when you mention bersama, Dr. Faiz punya nama Muhammad Faiz Tahir, MFT, Moving Forward Together. MFT tu dia punya akronim.
Wow.
That's why dia orang promote bersama tu.
Oh.
MFT, Muhammad Faiz Tahir, Moving Forward Together. Okay, that is our team. So that's in order for us to merdekakan minda, merdekakan hati, kita kena buat bersama-sama untuk menambah ilmu, menambah pengetahuan dan untuk kita basmikan stigma yang menjadi barrier, penghalang untuk kita mendapat kesihatan mental yang optimal. Tetapi sebelum nak habiskan, sebenarnya untuk Dr. Retina dan saya, kita orang tadi makan nasi lemak Saleha. Nasi lemak daripada Saleha. Kita bukannya tak nak, sebab masalahnya Amelia di Langkawi, Dr. Faiz di Kuantan, Saleha tak ada menyediakan perkhidmatan hantar ke sana. Kalau tidak, dah dihantar. Dr. Retina, kita dah makan kan? Sebab apa? Saya bila fikir tema family dan kemerdekaan, saya ada terbaca tentang keluarga Saleha ini yang mengusahakan nasi lemak Saleha. Dia orang tak sponsor tau, saya beli, tapi nantilah bayaran dia semua. Saya rasa inilah sebab dia punya semangatnya tu, dia punya dia punya apa yang kita boleh belajar, dan apakah yang paling Malaysia kalau bukan nasi lemak. Tak ada nasi lemak yang sedap di Singapura walaupun diorang kata nasi lemak diorang sedap. Tak ada. Bila nasi lemak hanya di Malaysia. Dan di Malaysia lah nasi lemak itulah macam-macam kita campur, ada ikan bilisnya, ada timunnya. Kita kan macam-macam warna, macam-macam color. Tetapi diadunkan, letak dalam satu, dilipat cantik, bersatu semua. Itulah unity in diversity. Itulah Malaysia. Itulah spirit Malaysia. Itulah maknanya menjadi seorang rakyat Malaysia. Jadi, apa kata tahun ini, bermulanya saat ini, kita merdekakan diri kita daripada melihat perbezaan. Sebaliknya, bersama mencari sesuatu yang kita boleh gerakkan bersama-sama. Apa dia? Mental health, kesihatan mental. Pastikan tiada lagi stigma di antara kita. Tak ada lagi mitos, salah faham di dalam family kita. Itu yang kita boleh buat bersama-sama. Selamat menyambut kemerdekaan yang ke-65. Inilah satu permulaan untuk membuatkan kita rasa inilah masa untuk kita menjadi seorang rakyat Malaysia. Melakukan perubahan walaupun kecil tetapi berteruskan. Selamat malam, terima kasih pada semua, pada Amelia, pada Retina, pada Faiz. Dan lepas ini kita cakap tentang racun di tempat kerja. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Selamat malam. Selamat malam.
Thank you.
Kepada Mat minta tolong ambil gambar. Okay, Mat.
Oh, Mat.
Terima kasih pada Mat. Terima kasih pada Mat.
Thank you, Mat.
Kerana berusaha ya.
I'm gonna go get my nasi lemak.
Jumpa lagi. Jumpa lagi. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye semua.
Bye-bye.
Jumpa lagi minggu depan. Bukan minggu depan, nanti. Masa ke depan. Minggu depan aku tak sempat. Okay.